My grandfather counted the people at the table before he would sit down. Last Christmas, I caught myself doing it. My grandfather never explained it. Every family dinner, he'd stand behind his chair and move his finger through the air, counting. Then he'd nod once and sit. When I was a kid, I thought it was a prayer. When I asked, he'd just say, "You count." Then you know. He died when I was 19. I forgot about the counting for years. Then last Christmas, at my mother-in-law's house, I stood behind my chair and caught my own finger moving through the air. 1, 2, 3. I stopped, embarrassed. My wife laughed. "You okay?" "Force of habit," I said. But I didn't sit yet. I counted the room. 11 of us. My wife, her parents, her sister Dana, Dana's husband Rob, their 2 kids, my brother-in-law Kyle, Kyle's new girlfriend, and an older man in a gray sweater at the end of the table I didn't recognize. "Who's that?" I asked my wife, quiet. "That's Uncle Pete, Dana's husband's uncle. He drove up from Florida." I nodded and sat, but something itched. Dinner started. Pete was funny. Told stories about the Navy, about fishing, about a dog named Baxter. Everyone loved him. He kept asking questions though. Where does everyone work? Who lives where? "Rob, remind me. That big house on Elm, is that still your parents'?" Rob laughed. "Empty till February, they're in Arizona." "Beautiful," Pete said. "Nobody watching it, huh?" I watched him tuck that away. Then he turned to Kyle's girlfriend. "You're the nurse? You do overnights? So the apartment's empty 3 nights a week." He smiled when he said it. She smiled back, flattered someone remembered. By dessert, Pete knew when every person at that table was away from their home. Who traveled? Who lived alone? Which houses sat empty and when? He'd asked it all so warmly nobody noticed him building the map. Nobody but me. I excused myself and found Dana in the kitchen. "How does Rob know his Uncle Pete?" "They met last month," she said, scooping potatoes. "Pete found Rob on that ancestry site. Turns out they're cousins or something. He's been so sweet, wants to reconnect with the whole family." "Found him," I repeated. "Reached out first?" "Yeah." "Why?" I went back to the table. Pete was showing Kyle photos on his phone. I sat down across from him and started asking my own questions. "Pete, whereabouts in Florida?" "Little town near Naples." "How long's the drive?" "Oh, 2 days with stops." 2 days this time of year. "Just to meet family you found online last month." I smiled the way he smiled. "That's dedication." His eyes flicked up, just for a second. The warmth stayed on his mouth, but left his eyes. "Family's family," he said. "Sure is." I leaned in. "You've got a great memory. You remembered Rob's parents are in Arizona till February. You remembered the nurse works overnights. You remembered Kyle's out of town for New Year's. You've been keeping track." The table went quiet. My wife touched my arm. "Honey, what's your last name, Pete?" A pause. "Same as Rob's. Delgado." "Rob," I said, not looking away from Pete. "What's your mother's maiden name?" Rob frowned. "Costa." "Why?" "Because your uncle's supposed to be your dad's brother, Delgado. But he just told me his own last name and stumbled." I stood up. "Pete, take out your wallet. Show me your ID." He didn't move. "Show me your ID, or I call the police and we let them decide why a man drove 2 days to memorize which of our houses are empty and when." Rob was standing now. Kyle was up. Pete's warm face had gone flat and gray as his sweater. He reached into his jacket, slow, set his wallet on the table. I flipped it open. The license said Raymond Voss, Sarasota, and behind it a folded sheet of paper. I opened it. It was a list. Names down the left side, Rob's, Kyle's, my mother-in-law's, addresses beside them, and a column of dates. February, New Year's, every Tuesday and Thursday. He'd already written ours in. Rob grabbed his phone. Raymond bolted for the door, but Kyle and Rob had him against the wall before he reached it. I looked down at my grandfather's granddaughter, my wife, staring white-faced at the list, and I finally understood what the old man meant. You count, then you know who's supposed to be there, and who isn't.